Having a belly or carrying extra body fat, being soft and flabby, can give other people the perception that you're lazy, have lower self-respect, and you lack discipline. Your body is literally like a flesh business card and how people will view you at first impression. And we can say, oh, don't judge a book by its cover, but human beings cannot help that. Naturally, as soon as we see somebody, we size them up. We perceive what type of person they're going to be like, and it kind of makes sense back from like primal days when we were assessing danger, when we were assessing someone for a mate, we were assessing someone for friendship. That's just the way human beings are. Now, if you're actively searching for content like this on the internet, then I'm sure you're not any of those things, but people will think you are based on how you look. And realistically, where you are now and where you want to get to is just a level of understanding and gaining perception and perspective on how to get a very hyper-specific outcome from a very hyper-specific point of the human body, which is essentially just pulling off body fat from around the midsection so you don't look as flabby. Now, it can be very, very painful wanting something, putting in effort, and not knowing how to fucking get there. Trust me when I say, I and probably everybody else that's been on a fitness journey have lived and bred through that. I've had a problem in a certain area to do with my body. I've felt the pain of not knowing how to do it. I've tried a bunch of stuff. I've researched, I've learned, I've bought courses, I've bought mentorship. And then once I solved the problem through that, I connect the dots back and I'm like, fucking hell, why on earth was I doing that simple point? And it will be the same for you as to why you're at the point now of carrying excess body fat, not knowing or not being able how to drop it. And it's just a case of gaining your perspective and opening your horizon. Because the guy with the clean-cut six-pack is not doing the common-ass fucking mistakes which so many people do when they're trying to lose belly fat. They think, oh, right, I need to lose fat, so I'll go out running. I'll do that 3 to 5 days a week. Cardio burns fat. Oh, and I need to cut out carbs because carbs make you fat. And then they'll pair these two things together, start all motivated, January, new year, new me, and then they'll fucking fall off 4 weeks later because they literally felt like shit. They crashed, they burned. Then they stopped for about 4 weeks, started to feel the pain. They still look the same and time is passing by. It's now February and you're getting closer towards your holidays in the summer thinking, oh shit, I'm going to look horrendous. I'm not going to enjoy my holiday as much. What are we going to do? And then they try it again, rinse and repeat. But boys, let me tell you, from someone that has a six-pack, like, we need to just reframe your mindset in why it is we want that. Like, the mindset of someone that has a six-pack versus someone that is soft and flabby are two completely different points. So when I identify as who I am, my actions will then set me to that point. I don't think I need a six-pack for a given holiday. I think I need to look like this forever. So my daily actions will replicate that. That means I'll commit to going to the gym and I'll never stop. You can get six-pack, boys, and look good off 3 sessions a week. You can commit to 3 hours a week into the gym. Commit yourself to whole foods over processed foods. Commit yourself to a high-protein diet instead of really high carb and really high fat. Walk daily. Just don't put as much fucking shit in when it comes into your body, because let me tell you for free, no amount of dopamine from any external factor, drugs, alcohol, food, instant pleasure, will give you the same feeling you get when you look in the fucking mirror like this guy on the picture here. No feeling will come close to that, the dopamine you get from that. And then the dopamine you get when you walk around and with your top off, people say hello and give you a look of respect and assume you're someone of discipline, of good character traits, because it is your human flesh fucking business card. It is absolutely priceless, boys. I cannot stress that enough. So we want to adopt the mindset that this is here to stay. This is who we are going to be. Because we are a man of discipline, we're not lazy. We are somebody that goes and gets what we want. We don't wait for it. And we're going to go and fucking take that today. So I'm going to get into the main meat of the video. And it's going to go down the nuance and the specifics. So do have a fucking pen and paper. For a quick overview, what we're going to cover is Go through your calorie setup and explain how the macros would work. Explain the timeline, what you can expect on how long this would take. And the reason for this is, if you don't know how long this is going to last for, then your mindset is going to be completely different. So it's almost like if I drop you in the middle of the ocean, you don't know when the boat's coming to fucking save you. You're just swimming. I think you would probably spank in a lot quicker than if you knew it was coming within a certain amount of time, because you would then save your energy. I don't know, random example, but anyway. We'll explain when to change a variable to get the response to lose the body fat. And that is probably the very hyper-specific point that you are missing. And then more importantly, how you will change that given variable to get. So when to change it and how to change it. And then lastly, you'll probably need some tips to do with adherence and how to actually stay on the plan. So we will go through that because it's all well and good me giving you something on pen and paper, but if you can't stick to it, then you're going to have a problem anyway. So let's roll. Okay, so what we're going to get into is the very hyper-specific. So if we were to look at this guy's physique right now, we need to assess his scale weight, which he's going to tell me, and also what levels of body fat is he currently carrying. And the way we can do that is we can compare him to this graph we've got here. Now, you can't see these dimples, so he's not in 15%, but you can see a bit of ab structure. If we get the photo back up on this guy, you can see a little bit of like the ab and where the rib or the intercostal muscle would be protruding through. So he's not quite 20, but I'd say he's closer to 20 than he is to 15. So we're looking around 17, probably 18% body fat. So what we can do is, using my fancy calorie calculator, there are plenty you can use online. You can use this one if you want it. Drop me a DM, I'll get it fired across to you. So we've got his starting body fat. We've got his body weight in kilograms. This is going to give us our lean muscle mass, 72, and also his resting metabolic rate. Now, this guy is probably an average guy, maybe trains 3 to 5 days a week, cuts about a bit, moderately active. Take these 2 points, times them together. This guy's maintenance, pretty much 3,000 calories. He's going to need to go into a deficit, as you can probably imagine. And when we do this, we don't want to start off too high. So we're going to look for a 0.5% of the scale weight drop per week in the initial. You'll see a good drop as fluid starts to pull out, muscle glycogen starts to restore, starts to come out. And from there, we will then look to pull down the calories and see how his body responds. But in the beginning, you can expect to drop like 1 kilogram a week. So his new calorie target, 2,500 calories. And this is what's important, the macro split. He needs to be having 173 grams of protein per day. That is literally mission critical. Protein, it will keep you more satiated and it will help you hold on to muscle tissue. Fats, we're going to set this number at 25% of the target, and then carbs are set to 300. So he can still train pretty hard with good performance levels in the gym. Now, we said he was 72 kilograms and 18% body fat. This guy's going to want to get down to visible, clean-cut, crispy abs like the guy in this photo here. And we're going to want to get there by adding his lean tissue mass plus around about 10%. So for this guy, you'd be looking, you want to get him down to around about 78-ish kilo or so, maybe a bit more, maybe a bit less. It all depends on how much fluid he's actually carrying. Now, convenient for you, I have just ran this. This is me now currently, and we're at 76, down from 88, and the time frame was 13 weeks to get down to this point here. So you can expect that with yourself, you get your start point, you know how much you need to lose. You're going to want to look at to drop 1% of the scale weight per week. It'll be a bit quicker in the beginning, as I said, and then it will start to mellow out as you move forward. Now, the beauty of dropping 1% per week is you get to retain as much tissue as possible. If you start to drop a lot more than that, especially in the back end, you can run the risk of losing muscle mass, and we don't want to do that. As we can see, this guy here managed to hold on to pretty much all of the tissue he already had, which is exactly what we want. Now, in the event that your timeline is anywhere from above 20 weeks, I would break this up into stages and blocks. You don't want to try and diet from any more than 20. You don't really want to diet any more than 16 weeks, I would say, is probably knocking on the head. Because you're going to fall off adherence at some point with that. It's going to be harder to maintain. So I would run it in 2 separate splits, set 2 separate goals. I would implement a diet break where you come back up to maintenance for around a week and then drop the hammer and go again. Now, When would we change a variable? Well, what are we tracking? We're going to track photos done weekly because we can see changes weekly when we're in a dieting phase. And you're going to want to track the scale weight. You're also going to want to track your lifts in the gym to see how performance is going and are we retaining tissue. And you can expect that you're going to drop around 1% per week of the total scale weight. If that starts to plateau out and also the visuals aren't really changing, then we know we need to change a variable. But we want to control all the metrics. So you've set your calorie target. Let's say you set your step target, 10,000, and you're training 4 days a week. At this point, we've got a couple of options. You could either pull food slightly, maybe by 200 calories. That will elicit a certain response. But if you want to keep performance high in the gym, you could implement cardio. Now, I know I said you don't need to go out running to lose body fat. What we would want to do instead, we want to do cardio that doesn't accumulate fatigue. So the heart rate wants to be around 120 to 130. Use Stairmaster, cross trainer, or incline treadmill, or a bike. Stairmaster may be a bit hard to keep at that heart rate. Stairmaster generally does get your heart rate up a little bit higher, actually. And you're going to want to implement that. Start with something low, like 20 minutes per day. And then, again, track the data across the week. How did we get the response? Did we get the kilo drop? Cool. Continue to run the plan. Again, then you just keep tracking. How did the visuals look week by week? Okay, it was good. If it wasn't, if we needed to make another change, we can then turn the screw again, add another 10 minutes of cardio, keep repeating. Or you may want to pull food because your appetite is fine and in a good space. And that is when you're going to look to change the plan. But the point I'm making is, we started off with food at a specific point and zero cardio. We would have then got a response anyway. And the point I'm making is, you have got tools in your toolbox. You do not deploy all the tools at once, hard, fast, and aggressive. A, because you're going to burn out, like I said in the start. And B, because you have nowhere to go with it. You have nowhere to progressively overload those variables to get a response as you get down into the leaner points. So that is the art of it, to continue turning screws, getting a slight change, turning screws, getting a slight change. And just having the overall vision of how long it's going to take and when to pull these points, it's going to give you a lot more clarity. It's going to make life a hell of a lot easier to execute this. Now, we need to talk about adherence, because this all sounds fucking lovely, doesn't it? But if you can't adhere to it, then it really does fall on deaf ears. And the one thing I will say is, where adherence will fall off, you will become to a point where you want some nice foods, nice, palatable, yummy fucking foods. And of course, they are the most dense in calories because they're probably higher in fats. Fats are fucking lovely, but they are more palatable. If you eat out, it's made for taste. It's not made for your diet plan in mind. So one thing that actually works to get around that is, honestly, you're not going to want to hear this, but it's following a simple based meal plan with whole foods, not fancy fucking palatable foods. You run that for 2 weeks, the cravings will start to go away, and you will actually feel content and satiated off that meal plan, and it will stop you from wanting to go out and consume palatable foods, because when you go out and consume palatable foods, it's just more, dopey, and it's very hard then to stay on the plan. So you need to not have that bitch mindset and be like, I will stick to this regimented diet. It's only for a short period of time. This is the nutrients my body needs while it's in a catabolic state. So we're going to be in a good space. Now, life will always come up to you as well. So we need to plan for that. You know you're going to have a busy week at work. Cook your fucking meals. Have your meals with you. Solution, problem, execute. Do not get caught out thinking I'll just cook it when I get home, because life will catch you out. And then you'll end up running to the fucking chippy for a dirty fish and chips, reversing your diet, losing a week of progress, and maybe that was the week you needed in order before you went on holiday and you fucking fucked it. You could have looked like 1% better, which when you're 13% trying to get to 10%, those percentages, they matter a lot, let me tell you for free. And you need to plan for emotional stress. People turn to drink, they turn to food for comfort when they're in a state of emotional stress. You will always have emotional stress. That is life. That's the way life is meant to be, and life is fucking beautiful. Emotional stress is needed. It's how we grow as a person. But if you do not plan for what you will do in that state of emotional stress, you will cheat on your diet, you will reverse the progress, and you'll blame it on something else. Where realistically, if you looked in the mirror, if you wanted it, you would have made it happen. You would not have cheated on your diet, no matter the emotion. You would have filled that gap, that void, with something else more sustainable. So that is one thing I'll say on that. Look ahead and plan for when you're going to feel like shit. Now, I've taught you how to get to the six pack, and if you literally follow these steps, you will fucking get a six pack fact. But the next thing is, how do you keep it? How do you keep the six pack, more importantly? So look out for that one in the next video.